South South Bronx, South Bronx, the South South Bronx, South Bronx, the South South Bronx, South Bronx, the South South Bronx. Many people tell me this style is terrific. It is kind of different, but let's get specific. KRS-One specialized in music.
Bronx Masquerade by Nicky Grimes. Wesley, Bad Boy Boone. I ain't particular about doing homework, you understand? My teachers practically faint whenever I turn something in. Matter of fact, I probably got the longest list of excuses for missing homework of anyone alive, except for my homie Tyrone. He tries to act like he's not even interested in school, like there's no point in studying hard, or dreaming about tomorrow, or bothering to graduate. He's got his reasons. I keep on him about going to school, though, saying I need the company. Besides, I tell him, if he drops out and gets a job, he won't have any time to work on his songs. That always gets to him. Tyrone might convince everybody else that he's all through with dreaming, but I know he wants to be a big hip-hop star. He's just afraid he won't live long enough to do so. Me? I hardly ever think about checking out. I'm more worried about figuring what I want to do if I live. Anyway, I haven't had to drag Tyrone off to school lately, or make excuses for not having my homework done, because I've been doing it. It's the Harlem Renaissance stuff that's got us both going. We spent a month reading poetry from the Harlem Renaissance in our English class. Then Mr. Ward, that's our teacher, asked us to write an essay about it. Make sense to you? Me neither. I mean, what's the point of studying poetry and then writing essays? So I wrote a bunch of poems instead. They weren't too shabby, considering I'd done only a few rap pieces before. My favorite was about Langston Hughes. How was I to know Teach would ask me to read it out loud? But I did. Knees knocking like a skeleton on Halloween. Embarrassment bleaching my black cheeks red. Eyes stapled to the page in front of me. But I did it. I read my poem. Guess what? Nobody laughed. In fact, everybody thought it was cool. By the time I got back to my seat, other kids were shouting out, "Mr. Ward, I got a poem too. Can I bring it in to read?" Teach cocked his head to the side, like he was hearing something nobody else did. "How many people have poems that they'd like to read?" he asked. 3 hands shot up. Mr. Ward rubbed his chin for a minute. Okay, he said. Bring them in with you tomorrow. After class, Teach came over to my desk. "Great poem," said Mr. Ward, "but I still expect to see an essay from you. I'll give you another week." So much for creative expression. Long Live Langston by Wesley Boone. Trumpeter of Lenox and Seventh. Through Jesse B. Semple, you simply celebrated blues and bebop and being black before it was considered hip. You dipped into the muddy waters of the Harlem River and shouted, "Taste and see that we black folk be good at fanning hope and stoking the fires of dreams deferred." You made sure the world heard about the beauty of maple sugar children and the artfully tattooed backs of black sailors venturing out to foreign places. Your sweet fly paper of life led us past the Apollo and on through 125th and all the other Harlem streets you knew like the back of your hand. You were a Pied Piper, brother man, with poetry as your flute. It's my honor and pleasure to salute you, a true Renaissance man of Harlem. Tyrone Biddings. School ain't nothing but a joke. My moms don't want to hear that, but if it weren't for Wesley and my other homies, I wouldn't even be there, aight? These white folk talking about some future, telling me I need to be planning for some future, like I got one, and Ray not agreeing, like he's smart enough to know. From what I hear, that boy can't hardly read. Anyway, it's like them white folk that get me with this future mess, like Steve, all hopped up about working on Broadway and telling me I should write about it, about getting with it too. Asked me if I ever thought about writing plays. Fool, what kind of question is that? I said. He threw his hands up and backed off a few steps. All I'm saying is, you're a walking drama, man. You got that down pat. So maybe you should think about putting it on paper. When that boy dyed his hair, I believe some of that bleach must have seeped right into his brain. I grind my teeth and lower my voice. Boy, get out of my face, I tell him. He finally gets the message and splits. I'm ticked off that he even got me thinking about such nonsense as Broadway. White folk, who they think they're kidding? They might as well go blow smoke up somebody else's you-know-what, 'cause a black man's got no chance in this country. I'd be lucky if I make it to 21 with all these fools running around with AK-47s. Here I am, one of the few kids I know whose daddy didn't skip out on him. And he didn't even make it to 30. He was doing okay till he got blown away on Saturday. Blam. Another statistic in a long line of drive-bys. Life is cold. Future? What I got is right now, right here, spending time with my homies. Wish there was some future to talk about. I could use me some future. I'm just about ready to sleep off the whole year when this teacher starts talking about poetry. And he rattles off a poem by some white guy named Dylan Thomas. That sounds an awful lot like rap. Now I know me some rap, and I start thinking I should show Mr. Ward what rap is really all about. So I tell him I've got a poem I'd like to read. Bring it in on Friday, he says. As a matter of fact, from now on, I'll leave time for poetry readings at the end of every month. We'll call them Open Mic Fridays. Next thing I know, I'm digging my old rap poems out of my dresser drawer and bringing them to school. I'm thinking it can't hurt to share them, even if there's no chance I'll ever get to be a songwriter. After all, it's the one thing I could see myself doing if there really was a future, and I'm thinking that maybe there could be if I really wanted it bad enough. And all of a sudden, I realize I do. Open Mic. Attendance by Tyrone Biddings. We are all here. Leslie and Bad Boy, Loop and Raoul, here, and here. Dear Mr. Ward, with his wards and wardettes, let's have a show of hands today. Is Portia here? Is DeAndre here? Where is Sheila? It's me, Tyrone, up here all alone, rapping into a microphone, 'cause I've got something to say. MTV is here. Mir and morning spacewalks are here. Terrorism is here, lurking at the bus stop. Can't hop on the subway without thinking of Tokyo. We all know poison gas does not discriminate. It's too late to worry about my innocence since fear is here. Why is it a weekend visit to your local Mickey D's may be deadly? Why hasn't somebody censored death? Don't hold your breath waiting. Still you can chill and celebrate all that's great about life, like music and the tick-tick-tick of time, which is equal parts yours and mine to make of the world what we will. But first, say no to coke and smoke. Say no to police brutality and causing fatality. Say no to race hate. Don't underestimate the power of love. But most of all, take 2 poems and call me in the morning. Shankara Troop. I am not in the mood for Tyrone's story. Baby, give me some lovin' routine. So when I see him in the hall, I storm past, as if he's not even there. Eventually he'll figure out why. I come to school sporting shades and a Johnny print across my left cheek. Johnny being the name of the idiot who smacked me last night. Naturally, Portia is the first person who notices my new tattoo. She walks straight up to me and says, "You deserve better, girl." And you know it. No hello, no how are you, just you deserve better. Then she turns away and walks into the classroom. Typical Portia. No nonsense. That's why we get along. Then here comes Sheila Gambaroni. The minute she sees me, she demands to know the name of the guy who gave me my shiner, like she's going to send her brothers after him or something. I keep his name to myself, just in case. She commences to call the guy everything but a child of God, which makes her feel better. I think, then gives me a hug and says she'll see me later. Sheila is a bit over the top with this sister act, as if she's trying to make up for being white, but she means well. I can do without some of the other girls who stare at me, though. I know they're just looking for something to talk about, so I rip off my sunglasses. Let them get a better look. Might as well stare all you want. This is the first and last time you'll ever see me like this. Of course, that's what they all say. Nobody knows that better than me. My sister's boyfriend have been beating on her for years. I made up my mind a long time ago. I'm not having none of that. Last night, I tried telling this to Johnny, who seems to be hard of hearing. He brought me home from a movie. He came in for a while, got comfortable since Mom was working overtime, and we had the apartment to ourselves. We locked lips for a few minutes. Next thing I know, he's fingering my shirt buttons. I push him away, gently at first. I think we better slow down, I say. No, he says, voice all husky. It's just getting good. This time, his hand shoots up my skirt. Bad move. I jump off the sofa like it's on fire. Maybe it's time for you to go. He grabbed my skirt and tried pulling me back down, which is right about when I hauled off and smacked him. He leaped up and smacked me back. My jaw dropped from shock, and I looked in his eyes, and I saw my sister's reflection. I turned away, strode to the door, unlocked it, and held it open for him. I hope you enjoyed yourself, I said, 'cause that's the last time you'll ever lay hand on me. Now get out. He actually looked like he was studying on staying, so I stepped out into the hall and screamed at the top of my lung, I said get out! Fearing trouble, he left. Now I've got this ugly tattoo on my cheek. I thought about skipping school today, but I hate to miss English. Besides, the bruise is temporary, and so is the pain. Still, I'd rather not have kids gawking at me all, period, so I park myself in the back of the room and wait for Mr. Ward to call our English class to attention. Mr. Ward is funny. Sometimes he asks us a question with no warning and tells us to answer quick without stopping to think about it. The truth is always right on the tip of your tongue, he says. It's the fabrications that take a lot of time. Yesterday he asked us, what do you know? Yesterday I said my name, but today would be different. Today I'd tell him a woman ain't no punching bag. That's what I know. Open Mic, Bruised Love, by Shankara Troop. A midnight thirst sent me padding to the kitchen for a jelly jar of water and an accidental run-in with my sister. She tiptoed in, late and limping. Her cheek raw as red-brown meat. I caught a quick glance in the chilly glow of the refrigerator before she had a chance to hide the latest souvenir her boyfriend gave her. I bruise easily is one of the lies she sprinkles like sugar. But I'm 15, not brainless. Besides, I knew the truth when I was 10. He'll never do it again, she swears, but he will, because she'll let him. Now me? I've got no excuses. I've got no use for lame excuses or imitation love that packs a punch.